have with your child. Celebrate your children together. They deserve your best. A message brought to you by the Department of Probation and Child Protection Services. Contact us at 467 1311 or 662 6833 for more information.
Let's get real on Winner. This is Lavi.
But I
Let's
need to
get
use the
real
headset.
Wednesday nights at 8 on Win FM. Get ready for an hour of real talk that will keep you engaged and informed, bringing you insights, the political arena. Real talk with Lavi covers all. Let's get real Wednesday nights at 8 on Win FM.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea only on Win Media 98.9.
Good morning, and welcome to today's edition of Island Tea. Good morning to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, the regional and international diaspora. We are streaming on TVC Channel 40, YouTube, and Facebook. Our phone numbers, once again, for those of you in the UK, 0333 440065. In the US, 718-285-6984 or 305-921-4619. And our local numbers, 466-0989 or 662-0989. For those of you who are looking to begin or further your tertiary education at 8:30 a.m., we have an interview with DeVry University as it launches its Bridge to a Brilliance initiative. So stay tuned to find out more about this. As we begin this morning's program, I got a notification from a colleague of mine about a missing young lady. And before I go to her, we continue to extend condolences to the family, friends, and loved ones of the young man that lost his life yesterday morning on the F.T. Williams Highway. May his soul continue to rest in peace. So missing is 14-year-old Nakaija Nata. She was last seen on February 27, 2025 at her home in Middle Island, St. Kitts, between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. Anyone who sees or knows the whereabouts of this young lady, please contact her father, Nick Nata, at 667-4882 or her mother, Keisha Nata, at 667-7001, or please contact the nearest police station at 707 or 911. Our hopes is that she returns home safely to her parents. And if you, Miss Nata, if you're within the hearing of our voice, everyone's worried about you. We ask that you return home or get back home safely. In other news for this morning, all right. I saw a headline that concerns the youth, and it says ECCB partners with government to promote financial literacy through Aspire. And it says the article reads, the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank is collaborating with the government to enhance financial literacy among young people in the Federation through the Aspire program. This initiative aims to equip students and teachers with essential financial knowledge in an evolving global environment. Sybil Walsh, the Senior Project Specialist at the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, provided an overview of the bank's role in supporting financial education within the schools. In November, I'm just picking out parts of the article. The article is on winfm.com, so you can go there and get a full read. In November, the government passed the Achieving Success Through Personal Investment Resource and Education Aspire Bill, laying the foundation for every child who is a citizen of the Federation to receive EC $1,000 or US $369 under this initiative. Because if you can get a child to talk about things in the language of a child, in the experience of a child, and then you can say they go home to their parents. So when we're telling when we are doing games about it, like it's price, like the price is right. I'm sure many times children ask parents to buy this, buy that. They don't know the cost, but if you start to introduce them to the cost of things, the next time they ask their parents to buy that, and then you look at the options, you can have this or you can have that. On the negative, $500 will be deposited into a savings account, accruing interest until the child turns 18, and also $500 will be invested in shares, fostering early exposure to wealth building strategies. During her appearance on WinFM's Money Matters program, Welch discussed the key financial challenges faced by the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. One of the biggest gaps you see in financial education in St. Kitts and Nevis, I think, is explaining the why. I think a lot of times, and it's at the household level, we learn finances. So it's explaining the why. Why am I buying this? Why am I not buying that? So when a child asks, and it's also upsetting family goals. Because if you don't have a goal for your money, money will find a goal for itself. That's so true. So if you don't have those discussions around the table, this year is our financial goal. Every year, there has to be a financial goal discussion at the table, whether it is putting down payment for land, a house, a vacation, simple things like how much money we are putting on food, on furniture, on electricity, on water. So that if I know, listen, last month electricity was $130, and we say we don't want it to go above 100, then turn off the lights, turn off the fan when we're not using it. All of these things are important. Unplug. Let us make our own pizza instead of going out and buying. Let's Google and find the recipe. Let's make our own burgers rather than going and buying every week. They are simple things. Let's pop some popcorn. Let's take a walk. Let's have some family time. All of these things allow everyone to be actively responsible for those goals. So that's good. That, as I always say, I feel I need to go back, or we need to just do over school, because these kids have a better opportunity than we had. But we learned from our parents. It taught us to save. It wasn't so in depth like now. So parents listening and kids, if you're listening as well, now is the time to save. You have the opportunity, the education, and everything at your fingertips. Use it wisely. We'll take a break and we'll be right back.
Found the sound, 98.9.
Babe, we can get up to 100% financing on a land loan with CIBC Caribbean.
Really? No down payment?
With 15 years to repay, it's so affordable.
Now we can finally move forward with the land we love.
Get up to 100% financing, half off the loan application fee, and up to 15 years to repay a land loan. Plus, CIBC Caribbean will give you $675 towards your valuation fees. Promotion ends March 31, 2025. Terms and conditions apply. Visit CIBCFCIB.com for more information.
Let's stop child sexual abuse. The age of consent is 16, yet our 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, and 10-year-olds are becoming victims of sexual abuse and exploitation, which is being forced into sexual activity before they are old enough to decide. This causes mental, emotional, and physical harm to our children. Parents, it is your responsibility to protect and to educate your children. Develop a relationship of trust with your child. If they trust you, they will tell you. Child sexual abuse cannot be our norm. We must work together to correct this. Help us prevent, help us protect, help us prosecute. A message by the Department of Probation and Child Protection Services. Contact us at 467-1311 or 662-6833 for more information.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
And we are back here on Island T. Are we ready for the interview? Okay. So founded in 1931, DeVry University offers undergraduate and graduate programs on site and online in business, healthcare, and technology. The university boasts an international student body from over 55 countries. DeVry culture of care is embedded in everything they do to provide tailored support services as well as a student-focused experience to all learners no matter what stage of their learning journey. This morning, I would like us to extend a hearty welcome to Mr. Micah Arnold, Chief Product Officer at DeVry University, to elucidate the recently launched initiative by his US-based institution to citizens across St. Kitts and Nevis in the wider English-speaking Caribbean. Good morning, Mr. Arnold, and welcome to Island T. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great, Hortensia. Thank you so much for having us. It's so great to be here.
I'm not able to hear Mr. Arnold.
Let's see.
One second, Mr. Arnold. I'm not able to hear your response.
I can. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Okay, so my first, Mr. Arnold, can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. So
okay.
So welcome once again to the program.
No, thank you so much for being here. All right, for letting us be here today.
Pleasure.
Great to spend the morning with you.
Pleasure indeed. So let us dive right into it. What is the Bridge to Brilliance initiative that was launched by the DeVry University?
Sure. No, thank you so much for letting us speak to it. Bridge to Brilliance is an initiative from DeVry University, university, like you said, based in Chicago, Illinois, in the United States, been around for nearly 95 years, teaching primarily adult learners in technology, business, and health information. The Bridge to Brilliance initiative for us is an opportunity to extend access to our online degree programs to residents throughout this English-speaking Caribbean. It provides a 50% scholarship for tuition towards our online degree and certificate programs, allowing us an opportunity to extend an affordable, high-quality education to residents throughout the Caribbean.
You said 50%, so you pay half and we pay half.
Yes, ma'am.
Are those scholarships joined to the International Student Scholarship and the American Pathway for International Scholarships?
They are.
Okay.
So the American Pathway to International Scholarships is the way we speak about the Bridge to Brilliance internally. So that's the opportunity for 50% off tuition savings for learners who come and study with us online.
Alrighty. So what studies were done to conclude that this initiative will be beneficial to the particular focus grouping and conglomeration of the islands?
Yeah. The Bridge to Brilliance initiative actually started in the Bahamas, and we had great success with what we were able to build with partnerships with learners in the Bahamas. And so we looked up and said, our mission as a university is to extend this open access and an opportunity really to learners, wherever they are around the world. You mentioned our 55 countries that are represented in our student body already. By being able to align our degree programs in business and technology primarily with the economies and industries throughout the Caribbean, we find really great opportunities for learners there to improve their education, improve their lives, and be even more impactful citizens and workers in their companies. Our programs align very highly with what we're seeing as emerging industries and employer groups throughout the Caribbean region. And so whether they're programs in hospitality management or programs in small business and entrepreneurship or technology programs in areas like networking or cybersecurity, we're seeing a lot of these line up with industries that are emerging and evolving throughout the Caribbean. And so we believe that these programs provide really strong opportunities for learners to improve their careers and improve their lives based on those degree programs and those jobs that they're pursuing.
Okay. So I'm going to... Innovation at DeVry isn't just about technology. It is about breaking down barriers to education. Let us discuss the access to quality online education and its critical role in preparing learners to be equitable in the global economy.
It's a lot of what we stand for out here. Part of the DeVry kind of DNA, if you will, our core mission is what we call our culture of care. And that is an opportunity for us to extend from the moment you request more information about our degree programs, through the moment you enroll with us, all the way through your student experience. You are connected with an enrollment advisor, a student services advisor. As you near the end of your degree programs, you're connected with a career services advisor. Our entire mission is to make sure that you as a learner are able to get prepared for those opportunities and those career aspirations that you have for yourself. And so that support and kind of the hands we put around you as you come through our degree programs really helps learners. A lot of our learners haven't been in school for a long time. They're maybe coming back to school or have taken a break, right? So being able to help those learners get over the concerns they have and the fears they have, and help them remember the why they're going back to school, and help remember that motivation all the way they go through. So that's a lot of what DeVry builds itself on. And so yes, the innovation, while we have very innovative programs that are teaching emerging subjects and right at the cutting edge, whether it's artificial intelligence or advanced manufacturing or health information technology, areas like that, we're also doing very innovative things around you as a learner coming through our school, helping you prepare and ultimately persist through and graduate with your degree and be a very impactful employee in your organization when you go forward.
Okay, good stuff. According to Open Door Report 2024 on international education, exchange 2023 to 2024 academic year, over 210 places studied at U.S. higher education institution, nearly 7% increase from the previous academic year. What amount of these students were enrolled at your institution?
Yeah, it's a very significant number. In line, most schools have seen a surge in their international enrollment post the COVID pandemic, obviously. So there was a time when students couldn't come to the United States or were kept home. That actually was a very interesting moment for us, because we were able to extend our online degree programs to learners wherever they were. And so we currently enroll hundreds of students online, as well as in the United States at our campuses domestically here, that are all come from international markets.
Okay, we mentioned it's continuing adult education. Can someone that's coming from, let's say, sixth form, as we call it here in the Caribbean, are they able to enroll as well? Because as I mentioned in my opening, if you're looking to begin or if you're looking to continue, can they sign up as well? And how do they sign up before we continue on?
Yeah, sure. You can sign up, sure. The one thing we're looking for, the primary thing we have to look for as an incoming applicant, is your completion of your secondary school. So sixth form in St. Kitts, high school diploma or a GED would be the American equivalent. Very similar equivalents in the UK with some of your other, I know you have a broader listener base. So that's really what we're looking for. If you're coming right out of those, your sixth form or your undergrad, or pursuing your undergrad as an initial student, you can absolutely start with us and come through that. We have a website you could go to for more information about this specific initiative and our opportunity in the Caribbean. That website is, it's a little bit of a long URL, so listen, bear with me. It's partner.devry.edu/Caribbean. If you go there, you can learn more about the 50% off scholarship program that we've been speaking about, as well as all the degree programs. There is a link in there that you can request more information, and we actually will connect you with an enrollment advisor who is specific to our international student population and can walk you through all of the ins and outs of an international student and that experience at DeVry.
Good day, Mr. Arno.
Hey, good morning.
Considering the impact that AI is having around the globe, is AI an option, and how much emphasis is DeVry placing on AI going into the future?
Yeah, no, great question, and obviously one that's extremely timely these days. AI is a wave, it's a motion, it's a movement that DeVry believes very strongly in. As a university, again, with nearly 95 years of heritage, primarily based in technology degree programs, our foundation is in technology and preparing learners and students for impactful careers in many fields that are impacted with technology or would be impacted with technology. We were actually running courses in AI and machine learning as early as 2020. And so for the last 4 or 5 years now, we've actually already been teaching AI related subjects and courses. We are now building concentrations in our MBA program around AI and data analytics. We also are running courses, whether it's leadership in the time of AI. If you're a cybersecurity student, we actually talk about using AI in cybersecurity environments. And so AI is actually finding its way throughout our curriculum. We're building, like I said, building courses and degree programs in the study of artificial intelligence. We're also actually now introducing AI in the classroom in some cases, where we have virtual tutors and kind of support agents, if you will, that are helping field questions and helping students with, where's my syllabus, when's the assignment due, helping check, quizzes and areas like that. So it's interesting to see a lot of that AI coming into our student experience as much as it is in our curriculum.
Okay.
In today's busy world, it's all about flexibility. So or should I say being flexible. And since it's adult, sometimes we work, so we are limited for time. Let us talk about flexibility. And if we start a program and we don't complete it in the time it's supposed to be completed, are we allowed to return to that same program, or would we have to start all over?
Yeah, no, great questions. DeVry is built for working learners. It really was one of the core student groups that we service every day. And so part of our mission and our opportunity here to bring programs like ours to St. Kitts is actually to meet you where you are. You don't have to quit your job. You don't have to relocate if you don't want to. You don't have to kiss your family goodbye for a few years and then write letters back to them every month telling them what a great time you're having in the States. The online degree programs do meet you where you are, and flexibility is exactly what we're getting at with that offering, right? You are able to log into your classroom online when it's convenient for you. If that's first thing in the morning, if that's over a lunch break, if it's in the evening, or a lot of our students put their kids to bed at night and then go to school. That is the life of many of our students. And so that flexibility is key to what we provide as a university. To your question, Cortencia, about starting and stopping, if you can, we absolutely will work with you throughout that entire experience to make sure that you are supported towards your degree program completion. If you need to take a term out or a session out, understand that those life circumstances happen. It's our mission and our goal to make sure that you get back on the road and continue through your pathway as easily as possible. So no, we would never force you to go back and start all over again.
Okay.
We're going to help you kind of persist through that degree program, being as flexible as possible with whatever your life requires.
Okay. Is there deadline for signing up to ensure that you qualify for the scholarship in this initiative that DeVry is currently offering?
There is no deadline.
Okay.
We have 6 start dates every year. So about every 8 weeks, we are running a new admission start date. So as a student, this goes back to your flexibility question. You don't have to start one time in the fall or one time in January. You can actually start with DeVry up to one of 6 times per year. And so our next start date is May 7th right now. And so you've got 2 months before that start date. There'll be a start date in July that follows after that. And so as you're able to prepare your application, meet with an enrollment advisor for that process, we can actually help you start your program at a time that's really convenient for you. That could be as quickly as you'd like, or if you need to take a few more months to think about it, we can actually help you through that process when the time is right for you as well.
Okay, all right. Do you have is there anything that we didn't touch that you care to expound on at this time, Mr. Arnold?
I think we were able to carry it. You helped introduce a lot for us. So I appreciate your contribution. Again, I'll just reinforce, DeVry University would love to service the learners and the students in St. Kitts and in the broader Caribbean region. We believe that our online degree programs really do provide meaningful, high quality education for those careers in technology, business, like we talked about, whether it's hospitality management, which can be really relevant there in St. Kitts, or small business and entrepreneurship, which can be really relevant there in St. Kitts. Being able to help learners realize that potential and that motivation for themselves, change their life, get that new job, get that promotion, and do it in an environment that really puts our arms around you to support you as a learner. That really is who we are and what we stand for, and we've been doing it for nearly 95 years now for learners all over the world.
Yeah, indeed, indeed. Well, Mr. Arnold, it was indeed a pleasure chatting with you this morning.
Likewise.
And speaking about the initiative that is building wait, the bridge to brilliance. Sorry, I want to build something.
Let's build bridges. We'll build them together.
Excuse me. Yep, indeed. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule and speaking with us this morning about the programs that you offer at DeVry. And I hope that your students' application overflow, not only from St. Kitts and Nevis, but from the other Caribbean islands that were targeted with this program as well. And we hope this is the first of many conversations. We look forward to chatting with you again.
Absolutely.
Sometime in the not too distant future.
Yeah, it's been my pleasure. Thank you so much. You all have a great day.
You too. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye.
Goodbye. And we'll take a short break and we'll be right back.
Qualifying Caribbean residents can study 100% online at DeVry University with 50% tuition savings and a waived application fee. Don't miss this incredible opportunity. Restrictions apply. Visit partner.devry.edu/Caribbean today.
Tune in to Creative Voices, the ultimate radio call-in program where innovation meets inspiration. Join me, Dr. Sarah Owen, as I welcome brilliant Caribbean creatives and innovators for engaging sessions that promise to spark your creativity. Don't miss this unique opportunity to interact with our guests, ask your burning questions, and gain insights that could elevate your own creative endeavors. Tune in every other Friday from 10 a.m. to midday. Get inspired. Let your voice be heard. Mark your calendars and prepare to embark on a journey of creativity and innovation with Creative Voices.
You ever hear Earthquake call and say, "Hello, Miss Lee, yes, it's me, Earthquake, I coming Tuesday around 10? No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it come, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the door, we are in the exit. Stairs might block up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that, because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without ear. Take cover under a strong table or a bed, or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner, and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH, drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls and doors in an earthquake, bad news. Take care yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drop and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, don't want to run outside and ask, you feel it, you feel it? Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop, and do the DCH, drop, cover, hold on.
This message is sponsored by the Australian Government, AusAid, and produced by NEMA in collaboration with Win FM.
Unlock the secrets to a healthier you. Join Dr. Natalie Osborne every Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. on Win FM 98.9 for Weekly Dose. During this 30-minute health discussion, we aim to educate and empower our listeners on the prevention of diseases, early diagnosis, and timely intervention. Don't miss out on this informative health talk where we teach you to live your best life. Weekly Dose, Tuesdays on Win FM 98.9.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
And we are back on Island Tea, and that was Mr. Micah Arnold from the DeVry University with the offerings of the Bridge to Brilliance initiative. So folks, for those of you looking to start or continue your education, DeVry just might be, or DeVry is the place to be. As he said, they're flexible courses. There is flexibility. You can stop, maybe take a term off and go back, but I'm not encouraging you to stop for a prolonged period. I know life happens as adults, and with a 50% scholarship, you paying the rest doesn't sound like a bad deal to me. So sign up for your undergraduate and graduate programs. You can, as he said, you don't have to kiss your family goodbye. You can do it online or you can do it on site. As we continue today's program, there was a story that I saw. Let me see if I can find it now. Because, when you're looking for stuff, you can't find it. They just disappear. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to pull up the story. Always have it at your fingertips, but when you're ready for it, you can never find it. All right. So it's from Loop Caribbean, and it says, Antigua government rejects Alpha Nero lawsuit claims and threatens legal action. It says the Cabinet of Antigua and Barbuda has issued a response to a lawsuit filed in the United States Federal Court in Puerto Rico concerning the purchase amount of the Alpha Nero yacht. The response also addresses an article published on the Associated Press online news portal that references this lawsuit, which aims to investigate whether any undisclosed dealings for personal gain occurred. The yacht, acquired by the government after being left in Antigua for over 2 years, it was sold for $40 million to an unnamed Turkish billionaire, with proceeds reportedly used immediately to pay off state debts. Government official characterized allegations in the article, as a politically motivated attempt to malign the Prime Minister and his family. They therefore condemned the article, which they noted cites the United Progressive Party in some instances. According to government officials, the lawsuit and accompanying article falsely implicate Prime Minister Gaston Brown, his wife, his son, the Accountant General, and the port manager. The Cabinet of Antigua and Barbuda is aware of affidavits and evidentiary exhibits filed in the High Court of Justice by Ministry of Finance officials as proof of expenditure from the sale of the Alpha Nero, the statement read. In their response, the Cabinet provided details on how the yacht sales proceeds were utilized. The documents confirmed that proceeds from the Alpha Nero sales amounting to US $40 million were allocated to cover expenses related to the yacht's maintenance, services and supplies, and payments of the commission to the agency that facilitate the sale of the super yacht. Additionally, approximately US $29 million of the proceeds were used to address critical fiscal obligations of the government, including payments to domestic and external creditors such as the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, the Caribbean Development Bank, Software One Inc., and judgment debts and land compensation awards, the statement continued. The Cabinet unequivocally states that neither the Prime Minister nor any member of his family or any public official benefited from the sale of the Alpha Nero super yacht. Prime Minister Brown addressed the matter directly on his Facebook page, stating, "I have asked my attorneys to determine if this article is defamatory. If so, the St. Kitts Nevis Times and others regionally and internationally will get their opportunity in court to prove that millions are missing from the Alpha Nero sale and precisely who benefited." Now so that's the story that's been making rounds on the news waves. And on the international scene, Quinn, anything to add?
Mayor Motley made a statement recently
concerning this?
Concerning the taking away of visas for the leaders.
Mm-hmm.
She said that presently Barbados is where she is, right?
Yes.
Barbados. She says presently Barbados does not have any Cuban doctors employed, but she said she would be the first to put it on record that Barbados and the region would not have been able to survive the pandemic if not for the Cuban doctors. And she went further to say, well, we have to make a stand. She said the best time to make a stance is when it is uncomfortable, right? And they're going to make a stance in terms of we should be able to do what benefits us as a region. So, that was commendable.
Yeah, I'm seeing it here. Let me see.
This matter with the Cubans and the nurses should tell us everything that we need to know. Barbados does not currently have Cuban medical staff or Cuban nurses, but I will be the first to go to the line and to tell you that we could not get through the pandemic without the Cuban nurses and the Cuban doctors. I will also be the first to tell you that we paid them the same thing that we pay Bajans, and that the notion, as was peddled not just by this government in the US, but the previous government, that we were involved in human trafficking by engaging with the Cuban nurses was fully repudiated and rejected by us. Now, I don't believe that we have to shout across the seas, but I am prepared, like others in this region, that if we cannot reach a sensible agreement on this matter, then if the cost of it is the loss of my visa to the US, then so be it. But what matters to us is principles. And I have said over and over that principles only mean something when it is inconvenient to stand by it. Now, we don't have to shout, but we can be resolute. And I therefore look forward to standing with my CARICOM brothers. I wish I could say brothers and sisters, but brothers, to be able to ensure that we explain that what the Cubans have been able to do for us, far from approximating itself to human trafficking, has been to save lives and limbs and sight for many a Caribbean person.
But we have had Cuban influence for years and years since I was a little girl, and I'm not gonna age myself. We have had my aunt and my uncle. They studied in Cuba. They now reside in the UK. One is an anesthesiologist and one is a vet, but he teaches sixth form now in the UK. He doesn't perform. He doesn't do anything veterinary. And I mean, these people have been amongst us for eons. I know some persons are saying it is because the Secretary of State has a bit of beef with the former regime. I don't know how true it is, so I'm not going to spread propaganda, but I heard they had some affluent Cubans who were kicked out by the regime. So I don't know if that may have something to do with them still being in their feelings, etc., etc. But these people have been around a long time. What? Okay, caller, good morning. You're live on Island T.
Hi, good morning, Hortensia. Good morning, Quint.
Yeah,
and good morning to all the listeners. Did you play the clip with an issue in Antigua about the sales of a yacht?
No. That was I just read an article from Loop Caribbean.
Oh, you read?
Yes.
Oh, you read the article?
Yes.
Read.
What I just played was Miss Motley speaking about the issue of the Cubans.
Yes.
Medical professionals in our region. Yes.
Yes. I had privy to that video yesterday. I'm not quite sure if Gaston Brown, the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, has weighed in on the matter at hand. Because one would think that Antigua, like the rest of the Caribbean, has benefited from the doctors and the nurses from Cuba. Not only that, Antiguans would have been beneficiaries of that medical program where our nationals will go to Cuba to study. I would want to suppose that. But what is ironic to me, Hortensia and Quint, and the listening public, one have to speak for them for their own self. And me, myself, as a national of St. Kitts and Nevis, there's an old adage which hails from Jamaica. They said, you have to dance a yard before you dance abroad. So in the wider scheme of things, I will want to start from St. Kitts and Nevis's perspective or end and go broader to the wider region. That said, I would have liked to hear from our Prime Minister Dr. Joe, on the matter, for more reasons than one. Here is it, our Prime Minister speaks highly about the smart hospital. What would be the effect on we not having the expertise, the experts, to really get that smart hospital up and running? That is futuristic, but we have to look down the road. Two, Prime Minister Dr. Joe was a graduate, a beneficiary of the medical programs from Cuba, because he has studied there and became a doctor. That's why he owned the title, Dr. Joe, a medical doctor. And for the life of me, it seems like it's a phenomena in St. Kitts and Nevis, where we play the wait-and-see game. As small as we are, we have to assert ourselves in the scheme of things. At least for once. Say something on behalf of your nationals.
I think Dr. Douglas had made a statement on behalf of, I don't want to say on behalf of Dr. Drew, but being the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Yeah, I think he had made a statement.
It could not be on behalf of, because
that's why I said I'm not going to say on behalf of.
All the heads of state. We have heard from Prime Minister Keith Rowley. We have heard from Prime Minister Gonzalez. We have heard from, like I said, I have not heard anything emanating from Antigua yet. Mm-hmm. And it is timely that this yacht matter come up with Antigua. But that aside, we have heard from not the foreign ministers. Of course. And Barbados has a foreign minister. Trinidad and Tobago have a foreign minister. St. Vincent and the Grenadines have a foreign minister. So that foreign minister aspect of it needs to be put on the back burner. Mm-hmm. I want to hear it from the voice of our Prime Minister. The buck stops with the Prime Minister. Okay. I doesn't hear much about Dr. Foreign Minister Douglas talk about the smart hospital. It is Prime Minister Joe's pet project. We want to know, can you lend your voice to the other voices in the Caribbean for once, so that we, the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, could feel proud of leadership within our space, within our abode right here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And rather not to be consoled, yet we're happy that we're hearing, voices like Mayor Motley and others. But we'll be more happy to hear from our very own sitting Prime Minister about this matter. So, because he have benefited from, and one of the projects that to be rolled out is the smart hospital.
Okay, so caller, you would prefer to hear from the Prime Minister and not our Minister of Foreign Affairs, because Dr. Douglas said he was going to take the matter up with the U.S. official while he was at the just concluded General Assembly. So you want the Prime Minister to deal with this, or you want the Prime Minister to sound the alarm as to whether we are going to stand on keeping the Cubans that we've had a long relationship with over the years, or if we're not going to continue doing business with them?
Yes. While I can appreciate foreign ministers who speak on matters of such, I will also appreciate, similarly, we have seen on the international scene in the United States where Elon Musk was in the Oval Office with the Prime Minister, with President Trump. Mm-hmm. And so it's like we don't want the foreign minister to overshadow our Prime Minister at a critical time like this. Okay. When we are hearing from the voices of the Prime Ministers, the other Prime Ministers in the region, So on that basis, I implore Prime Minister Joe to call an assembly, to go into Parliament, whichever forum you choose to make an address to the nation. And it's ironic that the opposition leaders has not really gotten and say something. Obviously, I have not heard, and it's incumbent on the media houses to present whatever audio that was said of these quote-unquote leaders of ours that we are feeling so belittled in St. Kitts and Nevis. Real belittled. That we don't have the voices on when voices are needed. Because on the collective end of it, Mr. Gonzalez is not speaking on behalf of the collective. Ms. Motley not speaking on behalf of the collective. Keith Rowley, they're not speaking on behalf of the collective. They are speaking on behalf of their citizens in their domain, in their abode, respective abode of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, and Trinidad and Tobago, respectively. Come on. Prime Minister Joe, you owe it to the nation. And I'm going to be relentless of this matter. I'm going to speak first, last, long, and hard about this matter. I shall take up this matter on the Grounds In program on another radio station. Thanks for listening.
All right, thank you, caller. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Voices has a new time. Starting Friday, January 24, tune in from 10 to 12 on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for Voices right after Island Tea on Win FM. Money Matters with Dr. Terrence Martin moves to Monday afternoons from 1 to 2 p.m. Inside the News on Saturday mornings, now 10 to 12 noon. Tune in to Win FM 98.9. Log on to winmediaskn.com and our YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch pages. And let's go. Keep up with the news on our website and by following our Win Media SKN channel on WhatsApp. Message your comments or call Win FM at 466-0989, 662-0989, or call our U.S. numbers from anywhere, 718-285-6984, 305-921-4619, and call our sales office at 466-9586. Voices, now 10 to 12 a.m. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Money Matters, 1 to 2 p.m. Monday afternoon. And Inside the News, Saturdays, 10 to 12 noon on Win FM 98.9.
Want to earn your degree from a U.S. university? Qualifying Caribbean residents can study 100% online at DeVry University with 50% tuition savings and a waived application fee. Don't miss this incredible opportunity. Restrictions apply. Visit partner.devry.edu/Caribbean today.
If you live in low-lying areas, be aware of the possibility of tsunamis immediately after an earthquake. A strong earthquake lasting 20 seconds or more is a natural tsunami warning. Do not wait for an official warning. Gather your family members and evacuate immediately after the shaking stops. Don't delay. A tsunami could occur within minutes.
This message is sponsored by the Australian Government, AusAid, and produced by NEMA in collaboration with Win FM.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
And we are back on Island Tea. Do we still have the caller? Caller, you're live on Island Tea. Good morning.
Good morning, Cortez here.
How are you doing today?
I'm fine, Quint.
Good day to you.
Yeah. It's interesting on the way that this matter is approached, the matter of the U.S. State Department threat, if you want to call it that. Some leaders, I guess, can afford to grandstand.
Why though?
Well, for instance, Rowley is on his way out.
I thought of that. So I don't think he should be speaking on behalf of the folks, but I guess he's done it.
Yeah. Gonzalez, well, we know Gonzalez. We know the position he was going to take anyway.
Yep. He's a Cuban.
Right. Mia Motley, we were waiting for Mia Motley. And it's interesting that even she's basically saying Barbados is not really going to be affected, but she thought as a matter of principle and solidarity
Yep.
that she should come out with a statement.
Yeah.
Okay? And one was expected of her. I mean, she's become the de facto leader of the CARICOM countries anyway. We're waiting for Andrew Holness. You know, it seems as if Holness and our own Prime Minister is practicing what we call quiet diplomacy.
Don't you think they're gathering their thoughts to come to the people with a proper, how should I say it? Oh, I'll get the word eventually.
This has been in the media for over a week now, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been in the media.
It shouldn't take that long to gather your thoughts.
To gather your thoughts and come with.
No, it shouldn't. Okay. So one has to assume that their silence is deliberate, and they may be on a different agenda. I don't know. But what I would say is that it would be nice if CARICOM spoke with one voice on this matter. I suppose the diplomatic communication, was sent to individual countries, and the protocol demands, I guess, that individual countries respond. But so it can't be that CARICOM respond. Okay, but I would expect that, and apparently there was in fact some coordination, some meeting, I think held last Sunday of foreign ministers. And in discussing the matter, that some common position was arrived at, and the response to the State Department, I would hope, would be identical from all of the ministers, so that there is no daylight between them. There doesn't seem to be any daylight between them when it comes to this issue, okay? Because we don't want to be picked off one by one, right? And so it's nice that some of the leaders came out, because it's a matter of sovereignty and national pride and all that. And you want to feel good about your country. You can't feel good about your country if you're bullied into silence, or you appear to be waiting on other people, not coming out with a principled stand or anything like that. Okay? It's a little too convenient when it's done like that, you know. And so it would have been, to me, it would have been nice, as the previous caller said, if some statement had been issued. And like Mayor Motley said too, you don't have to be shouting. You don't have to come out beating your chest and with all kind of bravado that you don't, you can't back up anyway. Okay? But state as a matter of principle, you know, your position, okay, and hope that the United States, being a friend of the region, you know, the usual diplomatic gibberish they talk, would understand the position of these vulnerable nations and what something like that can do to set back our health system in the region. So, you know, in other words, appeal to them, but at the same time come out as a matter of principle, and say that you're not part of this. And don't forget too that the leaders have to speak with one voice. So somehow, I mean, if integration is to mean something, they're going to have to come up with a way of talking with one voice rather than seeming so divided and seeming as if our interests don't coincide, because our interests coincide. Okay, they do, and so we should really take a stand on this. Interestingly enough, the leaders may not be the ones, and that's why I said it might be grandstanding for some of them, because they may not be the ones to be affected in terms of the United States might still honor the diplomatic passports and so on that they have. Okay,
But
so
then
it is that they wouldn't be able to
diplomacy
go.
might become strained. They just may not.
Well, no. What might happen is that, because I think the U.S. actually said, didn't target the leaders themselves, basically said those associated with the program. So they can select law officials in the various countries to target,
Oh, and
rather
not
than the leaders.
Not the prime ministers or the presidents.
Not the prime ministers, exactly.
Oh.
Okay. They can put pressure that way as well. All right. So.
Well, they did say they're family members, so maybe they can target their family
Right.
members. But
exactly.
But then,
this is a pressure tactic.
but wouldn't it still be a strain on diplomacy, caller? Because if you're gonna target my family members, but I can still go because of my status, being the president or the prime minister, how does it feel that if I could have taken my other half with me now, she can't come because
you really think that the U.S. is concerned with how you feel about their sanctions?
Wow. But apparently, I was informed that this was also an issue under the Biden administration. However, they did not threaten us with the visa restrictions.
Right. Yeah. They had figured out this way of trying to target the Cuban medical assistance program, and they came up with this strange what they call it, human trafficking or labor. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It is so strange. I mean, actually, there's so many.
But for a country that doesn't really care for Cuba, why is it just a big deal all of a sudden?
Right. After all, who do you think? Who do you think the embargo hurts? It hurts ordinary Cubans.
Yeah.
So it was always a sham in the sense. It just, what may happen is that in negotiating, the U.S. might decide to ease off of these small islands if, in exchange for something like us not being so vocal or so pro-Cuba in the UN National Assembly, because every year in the UN General Assembly meeting, that all the Caribbean nations always condemn the embargo against Cuba and so on. Mm-hmm. So they may opt for, okay, we'll leave you alone if you don't condemn us in the UN General Assembly. Wow. Or they may say, all right, we'll leave you alone, but I don't want you cozying up to Maduro in Venezuela. Wow. That's how they do things. They deal like that.
But Venezuela is already off this visa situation. The U.S. is already like, forget y'all not getting any visas.
Yeah, that's already there. But what I'm saying is they also do not like the fact that we have
relations
with Venezuela. As far as they're concerned, Venezuela is supposed to be ostracized by everybody in the OAS. Okay, so that is what I suspect that it's not going to go as far as having to ban. I'd be surprised if it goes as far as having visas revoked or stopping travel to the U.S. by some officials and their families. I doubt it's going to come to that. I'd be very surprised if it come down to that. Mm-hmm. But I suspect there are going to be some quid pro quo whereby we're asked to do something a little more palatable, like I said, dampening our support for Cuba in certain forums. That's what I suspect may happen. But somebody was talking about where the foreign minister is the one who made the announcement here, who basically and actually that release from the foreign minister was really a lot of diplomatic jargon and so on. That it was, in other words, it was not as strong. It was not as strong as the others.
Yeah.
Right. As the other ministers. Okay. That's why I said maybe we're doing silent diplomacy, quiet diplomacy, and being very tiptoeing around the issue as opposed to coming out in a very frontally way.
But Mr. McMahon, considering the statements that we've heard so far from the other leaders, and then Mayor Motley's recent statement, and Mayor Motley is making it a bit more broader, because she's saying, look, at times like these, when it is uncomfortable to make a decision is the times when we should make the decision if it benefits our people. So she's sending a message there.
Well, basically what she's saying is it's a matter of principle.
Yeah.
And yes, she's right, because if you fold on this just like that, you can bet your life that other things, we're going to end up having to fold on other things as well.
Yes.
So you got to take a principled stand. And there would be some who say, you can stay there with principled stand. This is a bread and butter issue. I'm not sure how it becomes a bread and butter issue. If you can't go to the U.S., if you can't travel to the U.S., you can travel to other places.
Yeah.
You don't. Sure, it's inconvenient. They're one of our main trading partners, and we have family up there, etc., etc. But it's not a life and death issue. Okay, and that is why it was for the Prime Minister to talk to them about it, because if it involves some quote unquote suffering on the part of the people, they will have to understand that. Well, there's a bigger picture here. It's a matter of principle here. Okay.
There's another caller on the line.
Yeah. Okay then.
Okay.
Morning, guys.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good. Now, I'm listening, right? And like Mr. McMahon said something what I was actually going to say. If we fall on this, there's going to be other issues that you're going to have to continue falling. Because then look at it, right? I'm thinking the biblical way. If you think, just like when the Antichrist come on the scene, in order to eat, you're gonna have to take the mark. If you're not firm-footed, you're gonna end up taking that mark. So what are we gonna do? If this little matter and the Prime Minister the Prime Minister should have come out to the country and talk to the country and let the country know where he stands, how do he feel about what is going on.
I'm a bit.
Do you think he should?
I'm a bit surprised that I'm gonna say I believe that Drew feels very much the same as the others, but I'm surprised that he has not made a statement, considering that he went and did some studies in Cuba.
Exactly.
As I said, maybe he's waiting to get the right words to come and say the correct thing to us, and something that doesn't sounds like a fight with the U.S.
What right words?
I don't know. Maybe he's pondering on the matter still,
But I don't see a reason why. I think it's clear cut.
This is not a pondering issue,
I understand, y'all. I always like to be the. Just saying. I understand. I understand.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
need to get up off his laurel and address the country. Don't have the people asking and he's not responding.
Yeah.
And because the Dougie didn't really say anything. He was a bag of nothing. His statement was like, well, why bother? He shouldn't even bother make that statement.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
But anyway, I listen.
Yes.
All right. But I was just reading up on something before we continue, and it says losing access to an American visa for St. Kitts and Nevis would significantly impact travel, tourism, and potentially economic activity, as it would hinder citizens' ability to visit the U.S. for business, tourism, and other purposes. And as we discussed the other day, we no longer have King Sugar. We are dependent on tourism. So how does one navigate this matter?
We have another caller.
Caller, go ahead. You're live on Island T. Without causing discourse or distress
good
for
morning,
the country.
man.
Good morning.
You guys, how you guys been today?
Good.
We're okay.
Thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, this is a very, very interesting discussion. There's somebody else on the other line?
No.
Yeah. Me personally, this is not an attack on the Prime Minister, but the Prime Minister got to exhibit strength. He got to show us that he got some backbone. I don't know why he's quiet thus far about this Cuban issue. This is a serious, serious situation. We are talking about our Caribbean leaders. We're talking about our Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis is at risk of not being present at the next UN General Assembly. The Caribbean leaders, I must say kudos to the ones that spoke up already, but we need to speak as one voice with unity. That's the only way they're going to respect us. And we need to stand up to America sometimes. This is one such cases. This is one such instance. We should stand up against America. I mean, just like how they want to impose a visa restriction on us, we should do it to them as well. And between now and the next General Assembly, later in the late summer, in the fall of this year, if they try to implement any of this, then our leaders in the Caribbean region will just not be present. We should possibly boycott the next General Assembly meeting. We should boycott it and make a statement.
But
and then whatever happens after that happens, and that's it.
But do you really think that boycotting it would matter to the assembly?
It possibly won't, but guess what? We won't be there. That's a statement in itself. That's to show them that we're serious about this, that we're serious about our Caribbean region. We're serious about this issue. You know, but me personally, the Prime Minister should come out, man, and have a press brief on the situation and don't appear like he's in hiding. Him, the ambassadors that we have, and the foreign minister. I don't know if all his cabinet members got to be there, but, you know, this is an international issue. The ambassadors we have, especially to the UN and to the USA, the foreign minister and the prime minister, they all need to be in a press brief and let the people of the country know where they stand on this issue. Because when we have seen that our leaders are not at the UN Assembly or they're restricted by that visa requirement that they're trying to implement, then it's like the country is left, you know, bewildered. But that's my contribution towards that. But I want to say something negative about this same issue as well. And some persons may not want to hear this. But when our same said leaders didn't take the precaution about that visa-free status we had with Canada, and then Canada implemented a restriction on us, the citizens, they still had their diplomatic passports, so they could still travel to Canada if they want. But if America implement this visa restriction on them, then they will feel and see how the regular citizens felt when we lost our visa-free status to Canada. That's what I want to say on the flip side about that. So if they don't be proactive and America implement that on them, then they will see how we felt when we lost our free travel to Canada. Thanks a lot. You guys have a good day.
Okay.
Thank you for your contribution, caller.
Hortensia, before you go further, I have a bit of a communique here to read. It says the CFBC Bulls Volleyball Club is hosting a mini tournament this afternoon, Friday the 14th of March, 2025, at 4 p.m. at the Pam Tyson Netball Complex. The Bulls will be playing Ross University. The entry fee is $5. This should be an exciting afternoon. Make sure to come out and enjoy the fun. That's at the Pam Tyson Netball Complex from 4 p.m. today. Let me read it again in its entirety. The CFBC Bulls Volleyball Club is hosting a mini tournament this afternoon, Friday the 14th of March 2025 at 4 p.m. at the Pam Tyson Netball Complex. The Bulls will be playing Ross University and the entry fee is $5. They say this should be an exciting afternoon, so make sure to come out, enjoy the fun, and they are reminding you again that the venue will be at the Pam Tyson Netball Complex from 4 p.m. And that's it. Yeah. Hortensia?
Hi.
I've finished.
Okay. Sometimes it's low, so I'm listening. I thought you would you had just paused for a second. All right. Well, I don't know. I don't want to say I'm passive or I'm quiet, but I guess as they said, we didn't get much from the foreign minister, and we need to hear from our own prime minister.
The concerns of the callers, I think they are valid, because considering the fact that we've heard from other leaders, okay, we don't know if those other any of those other leaders specifically went and did studies in Cuba. I think that considering the fact that our present leader did some studies, he knows the intricacy, the intricacies. He's been there, he's seen some of the things that have happened, and I've heard him on other occasions speak passionately about Cuba. So why is he quiet so far on this? Where I don't know.
Look, I'm looking at this from this angle, right? You studied in Cuba. That's a free education. Just to not be with Cuba, in my eyes, is to be against Cuba. So Cuba will look at it as, okay, St. Kitts is not going to support me. They're not going to get any more scholarships from me. But then on the other hand, too, he's probably thinking, okay, my people need to go places, because even if you go to Cuba sometimes and you're going to the US, they ask you all these questions. Have you been to Cuba for this, for that? It's a whole big dilly-dally. So he's probably thinking about staying loyal to Cuba and still finding a way to maybe appease. And this is just me thinking, so Prime Minister, your office, please don't come for me. This is just me thinking that he's trying to appease or have a valid response for the US and still try to stay loyal to Cuba to ensure that our years of long relations are not strained. Because most of these people that are in the specialized professions here in St. Kitts, not saying we don't have conditions in some of these professions, most of them are from Cuba. So and if we are to send back all those Cubans or cut ties with the Cubans, I think, as we say over here, we're going to be solved.
That is why, as Mayor Motley said, and I think he should be well aware, it may be an uncomfortable position, but deal with it on the matter of principle.
So he should just come out and say something to us. But if he doesn't have anything to say, as I say, maybe he's writing up his composition, he's tearing up the papers, he's just trying to find the right.
That doesn't wash with me really.
I understand it doesn't wash with a lot of people, but I like to see. I like to go with the softer side of things.
We have a caller. Oh, we lost that caller. Caller, do call back.
It's unfortunate that we haven't heard from him.
It's puzzling.
And what we would have heard from the foreign minister is not much, but I think he's working on something. Being the prime minister, being the leader of a whole country is hard. And I don't think when we sign up for these things, we understand how hard they are.
Yes, that's a true statement.
So I'm not trying to cover for Dr. Drew, but geez, it's hard.
Let's try that caller again.
Caller, good morning. You're live on Island T.
You have to exercise some patience. As soon as I see it light up, I punched it and they hang up.
Okay, caller, you can call back and see we have someone saying, no one used to see the news about President Biden before. All now Trump in. I hearing so much about what President Biden was saying and what President Biden was doing. But they were being more diplomatic and quiet and maybe working behind the scenes, but getting the information out. We see this administration is just loud. You're going to hear it whether you want to hear it or not. So that's why it's out there. Because I think every government that goes in continues or works on the stuff that the previous government was doing. They just make it look like their own until somebody behind the scenes says, oh, yeah, Mr. Biden was doing that, because the list that we saw that everybody was saying, oh, this is Mr. Trump deported this. Apparently that was Mr. Biden's list. So there were people that were going to be deported. He just had a bit more decorum about it, and he wasn't loud and needed to be braggadocious and all of that. That if he needed to find people, he could have gotten people.
And maybe he was looking for the opportune time to make that move, whereas Trump doesn't seem to care about time, and he just does what he wants when he wants to.
I saw an article where Cuban persons are being lured to Russia to say they're going to work in constructions and other areas, cooks, etc., etc. When these people get there, they're being lured to the battlefield. Some of them are losing their lives. Now, is he going to go over there and tell Big Bad R to stop that?
Well,
these people aren't going back. These people can leave us here now if they want to and go back with their lives. Those persons that go over there aren't going back with their lives.
Yeah,
they're confiscating their passports.
Hortensia, you're not sure that is a fact. It could be as well as it couldn't. So don't make it as if...
I have an article with it.
Yes. Well, where's the article from?
Let me find it for you. Give me 1 second.
Because we know how the West paints Russia and anyone who's not an ally. As a matter of fact, recently we see how they're dealing with even their allies. Let's try that call again. Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't think that the U.S. is really trying to hurt us, and so I don't think they're going to go out of their way to really impose really harsh conditions on us, okay? I mean, because they know what would probably happen is that they might have some boat people on their way up there from down here too. But they want stability in the region. It's just that they want to have their way, okay? And so I don't think, and you notice that this statement essentially were targeting officials associated with
Cuba,
the program.
Yeah.
Okay? So it isn't that they're going after the ordinary person who want to go to the United States. It's very targeted, very restricted. They just want to have their way on this. And so those who say, well, it would affect our tourism, I don't really think so. Essentially, it's one way anyway. We can't, people don't need visas from the States to visit here. And similarly, I don't think they're going to go after the ordinary Joe who's going to the States to shop or visit the family. It's very targeted to particular officials with a view towards getting them to change the policy. So I wouldn't worry about the the effect.
I would
on trade.
I would even go. I agree with you to some extent, and I would even go maybe a little bit further and say that this is just a feeler for whatever they have. They have something else in the background that they want to implement, and they just threw it out to see how the leaders would take it, and then they would
No,
move
they
from
want to
there.
put pressure on Cuba. That's the bottom line. They want to put maximum pressure on Cuba by any which way.
Well, don't
Okay.
we think that Cuba has suffered enough? I mean, where
They might
is
think-
our
we think so,
humanity? Where
but
is
they
our
don't
humanity?
think so. I don't know if you notice, but America has a very vindictive foreign policy. That
Yeah,
never ever forget. It's
I'm-
like. I
Go
mean,
ahead.
the Cuban crisis happened way back in the 50s or 60s,
Yeah.
the 60s, and they never forget it. They've never forgotten that their business people were essentially thrown out of Cuba, and their businesses nationalized and so on. They never forget that. That is why, and the Cubans in Miami, in Florida, have political weight.
Yes.
Okay, so that I think is what this is all about. That I mean, even Obama, I think, took, I would say, the cowardly way out and waited until he was almost out of office
Yeah.
to talk about improving relations with Cuba. So they know the politics of the thing, and they know they want to really hurt, I think, Cuba. Cuba is the one they really want to pressure, right? So I think we are just, I wouldn't even say collateral damage. We are
And
just pawns.
I agree with you, but I also think that our Caribbean leaders, knowing what, because Cuba is in our proximity, knowing what Cuba has been through, I think our Caribbean leaders should make a firm stance. And so far, it seems that is what they're doing, that they're not going to segregate themselves from Cuba.
Yeah, absolutely. That seems to be the general consensus.
Yeah.
The only thing, of course, is what would Trump do? Because he's extremely curious. I mean, he can be very erratic and so on, and very dismissive. And say, man, those little islands down there, those little dots in the sea down there, just make them do what we say, and that's it. That sounds as if that's something that he would say and do.
Okay.
So we can't just dismiss it. We still have to handle it with care.
Yeah. I
Okay?
agree.
Don't shout, don't be aggressive or anything like that. But principled, and let them know exactly how important this is to us and how we feel about it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, let's take a bit of a commercial break right now, and we'll be right back.
Found the sound 98.9 FM.
Rams the good food people, always there to serve you. Rams the good food people, locations right near you. Rams the good food people, in-store specials for you. Rams the good food people. Rams. When you need better service, Rams is always here. Better value, better prices. Rams is always here. Rewarding your loyalty. Rams is always here. We are community. We are family. We are family. Rams for you and me. We are community. Rams for you and me.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea only on Win Media 98.9.
observation just came to mind, and somebody told me about it as well. What if, the caller mentioned the backdoor discussion? What if the prime minister is having discussions with the U.S. before coming to us with a statement? What if he's going to take all of that into consideration?
But he should not do that singularly. He should not do that on his own. That is the problem the Caribbean face. Don't think that you as a one leader, however diplomatic you think you are, you're not going to make. That is what the U.S. wants.
That's true. Divide and conquer.
Yes.
But let's hope that they're all talking and that
think
we
we
will
have a
have the
caller
most
again.
favorable outcome with this situation. Caller, good morning. You're live on Island T.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. Yourself?
Okay. I would like to chime in on the issue with U.S. government and the Caribbean and Cuba. Now, first of all, can we agree that the United States government is aligned with Russia?
Maybe not the entire government,
Yeah,
but
I won't venture to make that
Yeah.
statement.
Okay, let's say Trump, but you read between the lines,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
China, Cuba is linked with Russia. Okay?
Yes.
That's true.
Now, how impartial they are and how hypocrite they are, because you are dictating to the good relationship the Caribbean islands have, including Cuba. We all get along.
Yep.
Cuba is not doing anything. Okay? It's just their way of life is communism. We are Democrats.
Yes.
And yes, they have the Russian ideology. But to dictate that, isn't they going against their own
Present stance.
perspective?
Yes.
It's like a spit up in the ear and it drop in their face. How you could have us go against Cuba and align with Russia? It's not going to go down well because you attacking one of Russia's allies. Okay? So one got to be mindful. Yes, the U.S. government is corrupt. Okay? It's corrupt, and they got to think before they talk. Okay? And they cannot go around and dictate to the world like that. Every country has their culture. Every country has their lifestyle. And who is you to tell me how to live? Okay? You're taking away the benefit, the attributes, the due diligence to Americans. Okay? And Americans are revolting. They are rebelling. And you're going to come out of your country and dictate to the rest of the world? Hell no. Thank you for hearing me. Bye for now.
Yeah,
Thank you, caller.
that's a good representation, because it is kind of a double standard.
That's what I was just mentioning.
Trump is Trump, and Putin seems to be very chummy, but
Yeah.
yet still you're putting. But I think more and more this shows, and will show even further down the line, that some of the decisions aren't being made by Trump himself.
No,
I think the Cubans who are in Miami, they have vendettas against what was done to them back in Cuba, and they're in a position now to push Trump, and Trump is
just going to follow.
Yeah.
Because a large Cuban contingent also went to Italy during the pandemic. Is anybody going to tell Italy they can't come to the U.S.? They're not going to do that, but they're going to bully us, the small ones.
Yeah. I think this was just. I concur with McMahon. This is a feeler. They want to find out other things and how our leaders will, whether they will unite against certain decisions. But also, like I said, we're seeing more and more where individuals like Elon Musk, pushing the president in certain directions that aren't beneficial to the U.S. citizens themselves, and they are getting a bit of a backlash, and it's going to become even more so as time passes, because, I mean, Trump isn't this big, bold, bad person leader that he is trying to represent to the world. We're seeing more and more that he's being pushed by certain factions surrounding him, and he seems to be relenting. You know. Anyway, we're fast approaching the end of our stint, and I'm told that we'd have to do some wrapping up, because remember there's another program coming up. So
it's Heritage Matters, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So
stay tuned for that.
So let us, Hortensia, what are your final statements? And
that the Prime Minister will come with a statement pretty soon. Just give him a little grace, okay? Just give him. He's human like all of us, Lord. He's working on it. Let's just give him a little grace. Maybe he should have come sooner, but let's give him some grace. Drive safely, be kind, take care of yourselves. Have a good week. See you on Monday.
And I say the same. Take care of yourselves. The weekend is upon us. Don't overdo it. When I was going home last evening, I saw a motorbike lying on the side, and it seemed as if though there was an accident, but I hadn't heard anything since. So be careful when you're on the road, okay?
Indeed.
Yeah. And see you next time.
WINN is 98.9. 98.